Sir, here's a good stick to beat the lovely lady.
Thanks.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Thursday Night Live with Bill Tucci.
Behold his mighty hand.
Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang.
Just want to manage expectations.
Weird.
This is the worst.
I did my bell too.
Oh, do it. Sorry.
I did my bell. That's the Tucci bell. I have my own video.
Top of the morning to you, boys.
Top of the morning.
Cheers.
Good to see you all. Thank you for joining us for another Thursday Night Live with Bill Tucci, starring my partner in crime, Niall Scalawags to my right. In the opposite corner down here, we have the one, the only, the great Dennis Turner from the Dennis and Andy Show, co-creator of Core Draft. And of course, but below me is my friend since the 7th grade, our own Elkie Summers, the one, the only, Mr. Stephen Perros. What's up, boys?
Chin chin, my friend.
So we're a little late because we had some wardrobe grievances, shall we say.
We were doing shots. Don't lie to them. We were doing shots.
Can I just weigh in for a second here? Before Billy's monologue, his opening monologue, I've seen the writers. It's not great tonight, so try to work on it. I saw Billy had this promo up. Everybody's all in green. It's a pre, with the glorious St. Patrick's Day on Sunday. And I'm thinking Billy's my East Coast friend. I'm out here in Hollywood. No one cares as much about St. Patrick's Day as they do back east. And I went and I put on my Soylent Green T-shirt. I posed in front of the green gargantua for more of the gargantuas. I actually pulled over and I went to Ralph's Market and I got myself some Guinness. I come on here. Billy's in his Islanders blue, drinking a glass of red wine, a little Merlot, shall we say? And then this guy,
Chateau Saint Michel,
and then Niall raises his little glass of red. I'm like, I thought
it was a red wine drinking night. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that my fellow Mediterranean would rat me out like that, would chastise me with you said there was wardrobe issues, and I'm glad you remedied them for a kind of a pale green. It was better than nothing. It's striped, and I'm giving myself a headache because I'm getting sleepy. Wait a minute, with all of the shirts, everyone, you're getting sleepy. With all the shirts that all your female
How did my pants just come off?
Throw at you.
I look great in green. Great in green.
So where is it?
It's all in my bin. It's all my hunting clothes, my army clothes. I had one of my old army shirts on before, and it fit a lot. It fit a lot better 30 years ago. Let me tell you.
Son of a you. Well, no one can see. It's all below.
I got a question for you, Stephen Perros.
Me? Well, thank you. I'm ready for it.
Here's a trivia question. We're going to start doing trivia questions.
All right.
Oh, nice.
When a man in a boat and a man falls into the water, they yell, "Man overboard."
Yes.
What happens when a woman falls off a boat? What do they say?
Nothing. They keep driving.
Oh.
According to the great Paul Lynde,
they say woman overdue.
Oh, woman overdue. Oh, well, the correct answer is, as the great Paul Lynde said on Hollywood Square circa 1974, full speed ahead.
There you go. It's a variation. Dennis, I think we all had a variation on that.
Now, Dennis, do you have any sleeveless green shirts?
I might. I had to do a wardrobe change for the interview because it was all about core draft. So I had to get changed into, my normal sleeveless attire in order to do the interview. So had I known we were going to do an Irish one tonight, I would have probably went and found one.
Well, Turner sounds like an Irish name, doesn't it, Scala?
No. Well, I do have. Now, I am a fellow kilt wearer because, the Turner clan was tied in with Clan Lamont. And, so I do have that. And my grandfather is a Heinz 57, so there's a wee bit. But I'm saying it's a wee bit.
So you're saying it's a wee bit.
Exactly.
Can you say that with an Irish accent? Can you say wee bit?
I have far more German and Norwegian. So I am very stubborn on almost every aspect.
Well, I'm glad for you to join us, my friend. This is like our chill stream. Crazy day. My sister-in-law's sister passed away. So we're at the wake today. Whom we love. This woman. Cancer sucks, man. It's just awful on everyone. But we rallied back. Get into the swing of things. And again, if we go big on me, Scala, real quick, if we can. It's not big. On my screen, when I'm small, these lines, they get very see these lines?
Yeah.
It looks like a vertigo type of thing, and I'm putting myself to sleep with it because I'm like, look at it. See, does that look like to you? Can you see those lines?
I don't. It just looks like a green T-shirt.
I could see them when you got closer, but I'm just glad you don't have a green screen behind you, or we would just see a floating head.
That wouldn't be a bad thing. It would not be a bad thing. So Dennis Turner, Stephen Peros, when we go out to San Diego, we're a good time. We get well dressed. We've had fantastic dinners.
No question.
Dennis Turner, the guy loves the black. He loves the black shirts. Hanging out at our friend Andy Smith's house. Father's Day weekend of last year. 85 degrees, right? Dennis Turner, the black shirt.
Yep.
I see no reason not to do that.
Yeah, why not?
Now, I do have other color shirts, and no matter what they are sleeveless, except for, when we have the Hawaiian shirt night, I do have sleeves on that. I did want them removed. My wife said, absolutely not. You must have at least a couple of shirts with sleeves. So I acquiesced.
Okay. Now, Stephen Peros, for 20 years now, plus maybe, puts on an incredible Saturday night soiree, if I may, at Athens Market Taverna, a wonderful Greek restaurant that's been in business, owned by Mary since 1974.
This is correct.
It is. I'd call it a landmark.
It's no question
in San Diego, and
historic monument.
Yeah, even better. And we get dressed up. We look good.
Look good. As good as our suitcases will allow us to look.
Yeah. But I'm wondering, should we maybe even think about for 1 year, just saying, maybe we do the Hawaiian shirt night for that too. We all show up in Hawaiian shirts.
You'll probably get a lot of takers on that because they're easy to pack.
Yeah.
And then we'll just look like a bunch of guys in Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, but we are Hawaiian shirts, like monster Hawaiian shirts.
Maybe I don't have them on. You stop spending my money, Bill Tucci.
You don't have you know what, Stephen Peros, for your birthday, May 5th of this year, I'm going to buy you a monster Hawaiian shirt.
I will accept it. You got me a Great King Kong t-shirt I wear all the time to this day. Well,
now you're a tall man, but you're in shape. You're a runner. So what size are you wearing? Are you wearing a large? Is it
large? A large. Oh. Yeah. Back in the day, when I was really in shape, I was wearing a medium, Billy. But those days are behind me.
I know, my friend. I remember when we were pitching the magnificent seventh graders. I think I got down. Listen to this, Dennis Turner. I was down to 150 pounds.
Good God.
And my shirts were mediums too then.
I can say I don't even remember those days. even as a freshman and sophomore in high school playing football, I was a really slim 215. So yeah, we're probably talking grade school.
How tall are you, Dennis?
6'1".
There you go.
He's an imposing figure, like our Niall Scala. He's tipping in at 6'2".
You know, I had no
I was
idea
gonna say,
since I
Niall's taller than me.
had no idea because I see Niall sitting there. You know, he's a bespectacled man with a well-trimmed beard, talking intelligentsia, and then I suddenly saw a photo with you in scale with other people, and I said his head's going to go through the roof like Dino.
I know. 6'2", 230.
Look at that.
I don't wear mediums. Well, actually, you know, this is actually to scale with me and Tooch because this is how tiny he is compared to me.
Is that really to scale?
That's really to scale, yeah.
And I'm going to start growing my hair like that too. I think I would look fantastic in that cut.
I think so.
A part on the side. What do you think, Steve? Let it grow out. Like you grow your hair long.
Yeah, you got a full head of hair. What are you wasting it for?
I don't know. I don't. It's
Is it that wife of yours? Is it that wife of yours?
Yes, it is. When she's like, "You need a haircut." That's true. Well, here it is. I think in a way, I have no gray in my hair, except for a little bit on this and my temples now.
Mm-hmm.
So she's starting to like that. So a few weeks, like last week, I did get a haircut. But she's like, oh, I don't know. I like you got these little, and it was very cute, Dennis Turner, because she's like, we're growing old together. And I'm like, well, now that you told me that, now I got to start second guessing this whole marriage thing. You know what I mean? Like,
No, Billy, it's fine. You've got that Reed Richards, that really nice for the last 5 decades, you know, of that perfect gray that just stays right there. That's what you want. I've got gray. We've all got gray. I've got it in my beard. It's happening.
Well, Steve Perro still has his hair, the same hair he had in high school, though.
That's great. I got gray going on. Don't worry.
I don't know if I ever told Steve this, but I've told Billy this. You know, when I'll, my wife will be like, so who are you streaming with? And I'll be like, oh, you know, Billy, Stephen Peros. Oh, John Stamos. I'm like, yep. I'm like, what are you getting at, honey? You don't watch the stream. You hear me?
Wow.
You keep away from that stream.
You keep away from that Peros. He's no good. Have mercy.
Because you know, Billy, with that hair coming in like that, you can get that side part, that perfect coif of the hair that's on there. Let it grow a little bit and just have that perfect coif as it goes in. Oh,
well, let me ask you two guys. You guys have longer hair. Steve, your hair is luxurious. Do you have the mousse or the gels?
Yeah, I have a product. I got a product. I have a product.
Ooh, see, like my son Matthew's he's got the flow going, you know, and Will's got Debbie's super thick hair.
Now, Dennis, is your hair all the way down in the back in a ponytail? What's going on back there?
No, used to. Boy, do I got pictures. Yeah, my hair
I did back in the day.
Oh yeah, my God! The first time I saw Steve.
Yeah, my hair used to go down to the middle of my back, but you know, I had to get it cut for corporate reasons, and I got rid of my hippie haircut because, you know, when I go to the Renaissance fairs and festivals, you know, I was like D'Artagnan, and I had the long hair, and it was all natural, and yeah, I got a cut.
Well, you know, I got to say right now that you had to say that. I hate that fucking movie.
Which movie?
The Three Musketeers, the one that came out in like 94, 95.
How do you hate the Disney?
My wife loves that film. First of all, Kiefer Sutherland is like my size. He's not orthos at all, or which one he was. He's not Dennis Turner.
We're gonna bring our friend Vaughn Coleman up though for a minute, talking about hair.
Where's Vaughn Coleman? Vaughn Coleman doesn't watch a show anymore.
I'm telling you though. I'm going to share something here. Okay. This kid's got like that's like a 1920s comb.
Oh, hello. Let's see here. So here's Vaughn Coleman. Do you think so? Vaughn Coleman could have been like a
time traveler.
Like a I don't know. He could have been a soft shoe guy. He could have been a vaudevillian, if you will.
Yes. Look at those golden locks.
Isn't this guy a reviewer?
Golden locks.
Yes, Vaughn does review, but Vaughn does review. Vaughn's a writer, but he's also a comic book creator. He's about to publish Phenomenova, which launches at the end of this month.
Looks good.
We're all looking forward to supporting this campaign. But Vaughn doesn't watch a show anymore for some reason.
Yeah, he does.
Billy, when did
I don't
your
see Vaughn I
Yeah,
don't
he
see Vaughn
does.
here anywhere.
But look at those flowing golden locks.
gentlemen? When did
That's like a
Thursday-
baby doll. He's like a baby doll.
When did Thursday night with Billy Tucci turn into 4 guys looking at a picture of a younger man discussing his golden locks?
Apparently, the day that you all wore green.
You know, you're right about that. You know, you're right about
Today we
that.
all more green, baby.
As everyone knows, the Oscars were this past weekend.
As everyone
And
does.
holy shit. I gotta say, you see Madonna, right? Look at my poor Madonna.
She was on the Oscars?
No, but just you see, I'm getting to a point here.
Oh.
Yes, indeed, very good.
Very gay.
Please, God, Vaughn, don't ever commit a crime and go to prison. Anywho, so, but did you guys see Salma Hayek?
No.
What a dish. Salma, someone find.
Dude, she looks good in a garbage bag.
You mean on the red
come on.
carpet?
Salma Hayek and Elizabeth Hurley today, the way they look, my goodness.
Oh yeah, you mean just how that? Yes.
Oh
They-
my God.
they have
I'm gonna
aged
find her
very
right
well.
now. I mean, we're not covering any campaigns. I don't care because I was drinking wine and then Peros shamed me into drinking.
Now he's mixing his liquor, so he's getting extra happy.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of happy, what's up, Blevins?
What is
What's up,
going on,
Dr. B?
fellas?
Hey,
How's it
Brian.
going? I wish
Why are you
guys
looking
could
at
see-
Billy like that?
I wish you guys could see all this alcohol I have all around me. It's insane.
Well, we could if you turned
I have-
on your camera.
I have
No.
all the alcohol. It's too much. It's too much for one camera, is what it is.
Stop gazing at Peros like that.
But I mean, he's the creator of Stoker and Wells.
That's right.
I did you say I'm the creator of Stoker and Wells?
Oh, wait a
Oh,
minute. Dude.
you
We
should
got
bring
to
up
talk
the
about.
Is that what you said? I can't believe you said it was just lying here. Just lying
It's
here.
lying.
He
So
uses that as a
stupid.
coaster.
Something was lying. Something was lying.
So, Stephen Paris, now we brought up Stoker and Wells, a comic that I don't want to say I invented it, but maybe I did have something to do with the creation of it. Like maybe, like Steve, you should make a comic book. No, I did have the honor of doing a variant cover for
No,
it.
Billy,
I
you were an incredible inspiration. I had written a screenplay called Stoker and Wells. It almost, people almost it got me a job, but no one pulled the trigger. And people said you should turn this. My manager at the time had said maybe is there some other form of IP? It's about Bram Stoker and H.G. Wells. Wells in his 20s, Stoker in his 40s, are the two men who had nothing going on in their lives in terms of their literary careers, meeting and going on an adventure that leads to the creation of the time machine in Dracula. And as soon as my manager said maybe turn into some other IP, I thought, started talking with Billy, and that's where it all began as a graphic novel. And Billy was a godfather all throughout the process. He brought on the great J.C. Vaughn, as we know him, JCV.
J.C. Vaughn, who turned a 422-page screenplay into a 96-page graphic novel. No.
Yes, he actually somehow increased the pages. I don't know how he did that, but
that is the power of a
And
good
added
editor.
and he added
I'm
vampires.
sure Jeff did shepherd you in a way, right?
Oh, he totally did. I learned a bunch from him, totally from him, because he would go through the script. I learned all those valuable lessons of you. There's no such thing as a panel where someone hits somebody and goes over a table. It's like, no. That is not a panel.
Yeah.
So I learned all those lessons very quickly, which primed me to then go from Stoker and Wells to 1, 2, 3, count them 3, Return of the Warrior she-books, writing those with Billy. So
Yeah, we have a lot more coming this year, my friend. So
Yeah.
if you will abide by me and get
This
ready,
time.
this summer we're launching once again.
If you listen to me this time,
Yes, I know.
Hey,
We have another 3 more great graphic novels. But if I can for a second, now that I have you on, Stephen Peros,
yeah,
if I may. So Stephen Peros put together this amazing Saturday night dinner. It's very closeted. It's
What do
very
you mean
highbrow,
closeted?
if you
What?
will.
Closeted. What else? What's for dessert at this
You
dinner?
caught that,
Hey,
Niall?
This is getting gayer all the time.
It's a men's night. No. Anyway, but I digress. Thank you for capturing that.
Is that the Greek over there?
Yes, that's
in
the
the
Greek
front?
right there to the left. Nick, we have
he
a
was
couple
at
of
San
Greeks,
Diego?
3 Greeks
Yeah.
with us in a Greek restaurant.
And this is
It
one of
looks
our
like old Soloff. Looks like
yeah,
Soloff.
this
there.
is actually one of our smaller gatherings.
a
2,
Jewish
4, 6, 8, 10, 11 guys. That's actually, we're usually at least 14.
Yeah, I wouldn't say small, but I would say more intimate, and that's
Yeah.
my fault. And I've learned my lesson, so now banned. But the gentleman to the right, our good friend Kevin Topham, JC Vaughn took this photo. He passed away last week
Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
of a heart attack. He was 60, or 60 years old, and he had a series of health issues, as you do when you get into your later 50s. My God, Steve Peros, if you could survive your 50s, right? Survive the 50s. But we lost Kevin, and this was a great night. I think this is from 2018, perhaps.
Seems reasonable,
Again,
yeah.
one of the more intimate ones. Lots of cigars, lots of fun. This might have been the night, Steve, that I screamed at a homeless person, and I apologize.
I remember it well.
This
Wow.
was 2018, Billy, because I was in the bathroom when this photo was taken, unfortunately. But this was 2018.
On a Saturday night in a Greek restaurant in the bathroom.
Dang.
Dang.
It was a closeted event. What can I say?
Phone number is still in there.
That's where I want to be.
Yeah, but
What?
what?
I don't
In the
know.
bathroom with me? What is going
I don't
on?
know what's happening.
Anywho, but guys, but Kevin Topham was one of the greats. What a sweetheart. Loved his cigars. Loved his drink. Loved his red meat, if you will.
Yes.
And well, that's the way it is. So God bless and thank you. But here's to you, Kevin Topham. One of the
There you go.
one of the Saturday night dinner kings. So
Well, thank you.
Andy Smith.
Well, we
What
just
is
had
that?
some more
It's speaking
sausage
out
has
of
been
nowhere.
added to the platter.
Hey,
Mr.
where-
Tucci.
What?
What?
What? Who do you
Speaking
Oh,
of,
that was that one at all.
Hey!
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, faggot?
So
I mean,
Wow.
see, Niles at his all natural.
Porthos the pirate.
Is that your mullet, or are you rocking the Ben Franklin, or is it what
Whoa,
are you
whoa,
rocking there?
whoa! That, my friend,
Why we
wasn't a
kicking
Three
Blevins?
Musketeer.
Why
I
you
was
kicking
one of the
Blevins?
Cardinals guards.
Why are you kicking Blevins?
What?
Marcus
Who said
says
kick?
kick
No, don't
Blevins.
kick Blevins.
No, we
Don't
can't.
kick
No.
Blevins.
He's,
Blevins, my
he's
brother.
got his camera off because he's got so much alcohol.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to see,
Sure.
where the
Hey,
corks
I
are
have
hiding.
a question to ask, Peros. I have a question to ask you. So, like when the time machine was written, how long do you think it was before people started really digging into the idea of time travel and realizing the ideas of man, if I do this, it affects the future, and then you could get alternate realities, and you could cause damage in the future and stuff like that. Nobody. It didn't seem like anybody really cared about that in the early movies, but now, the whole idea of I guess what the butterfly effect would be is insane all over the place now when you think about time travel.
Well,
God damn, that's a great question, Dr.
Well,
Blevins.
it's interesting. I mean, if you look
Yeah.
at the, right now I'm just speculating because I haven't done the actual research
gonna
to
hang
answer
out
your
with
question.
Andy.
But as anyone on this panel will do, we'll wing an answer. So I will wing one. I would say that because there really isn't some next great time travel novel of the late 1890s, because I think Time Machine was 93, 94, something like that, 92, 93.
95. I think it's 95.
95. Then one would think that it didn't necessarily, even though it's a success, didn't necessarily set off a trend in literature. So certainly took, and obviously since we're talking pre-cinema here, I would say it took a while, my friend. I think it took a while for it. There's certainly no next significant work of literature that involves time travel for quite a number of years after that. It didn't open up a floodgate as successful as the book was, which it was. And the ensuing works by H.G. Wells were successful as well. But no, I can tell you that it caught on. The phenomenon did not initially.
So so I've never read the book.
Mhm.
I'm sure you have. I don't know if our other panelists have. But did he?
Jesus, kick Billy. Just saying. No, I never read it either. I'm a movie guy.
I happen to
like,
be a reader of Stoker and Wells, written by Stephen Peros.
I did read Stoker and Wells. I didn't read The Time Machine. I'm sorry. Shoot.
Everything in there is accurate.
For Stoker and Wells. That's all that matters.
No, I read Stoker and Wells, and I
Yes.
never read The Time Machine. I don't know why. I was an underachiever in high school. Stephen will attest to that.
Did you at least watch the movie?
Who are the characters in Stoker and Wells?
No, but I want to get deep into this because I think people want to know. Did Wells explore that aspect, the butterfly effect? Did he?
No,
he did not.
No, he did not. The book does not explore that. The book goes into more periods of time in the future than the movie does. The Explorer is unnamed. Again, my research, now we're going back to when I actually researched the book, but Nina is Weena is involved. The obviously the Morlocks, the Eloys described and usually portrayed as accurately as could be by George Powell in the Rod Taylor film. Probably, if you were going to do it accurately, it would be more like you would do it the way they did Lord of the Rings, where you shorten the size, because the Eloi are not particularly they're under our heights, not quite Hobbit size, but they're not just Yvette Mimieux walking around. Although I don't mind.
Wait a minute there.
I don't know who that is.
What?
She's
I'll take one.
Who said that?
Attractive female lead in The Time Machine.
Andy said that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I did not.
We only lost about a year or two ago, Billy. We only lost Yvette Mimieux a year or two ago.
But if my memory serves me correct, I believe at a dinner in 1906 at one of his closeted men's dinners, he did speak of the Time Machine then, Billy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a secret club, my friend.
Now just Kevin Ryan. Now this guy is the legal police, the literary police.
He knows his stuff.
And he's there. He is the guy who's.
Look at that picture. I trust him.
He's on Google. He's on Wikipedia. While he's live streaming and correcting you, he's like someone watching the presidential debate.
That's right. He's a
there
fact
going,
checker.
Yes, wrong, right, wrong. But I kid, just Kevin Ryan. So there was an unauthorized sequel, The Time Ships, which does explore the butterfly effect. When does that happen? When was that published?
Right, I was just going to say, what year was the Time Ships published?
We'll wait. We'll wait, just Kevin Ryan. We'll wait.
Kevin Ryan, get us those dates.
I mean, there's just so much in regards to time travel, like the bootstrap paradox, which is my favorite.
Wait, 1995.
What's that?
I thought you were. It's an authorized sequel. What is an authorized to a public domain?
What is to a public domain? What is going on here?
All right, I'm gonna have to let's see that picture of Kevin.
Detective Blevins is working it.
Well, listen, just Kevin Ryan. I'm on a very popular TV show now. I can't go to Wikipedia.
You can't do that. There's no way you could do that. There's no way. No.
Oh, look at that.
That's what I assumed you were going to say. But thank you. No, I did not know. I had no idea about this. Thank you for letting me know.
Marcus Kelligrew for the alley-oop right in there. Yeah, 95.
Because the whole theory of the butterfly effect, it's much earlier than 75, wasn't it? I mean, 95, wasn't it?
Yes. So excuse me. Thank you very much, Dennis. So the bottom line is that Ray Bradbury, who talked about the butterfly effect, certainly in his story, which became his story, The Sound of Thunder. which predates 95. So there was definitely the butterfly effect being explored in literature prior to 95. One might argue way prior. There are TV shows that explore what if you go back in history and change the future and what's going to happen.
Right.
So this has been around prior to 95. So whoever this cat was who wrote the Time Soldiers or whatever the heck it was, Time Ships, I don't know if he did anything new with that, but hopefully he did. I have no idea.
But he got the okay from the estate, which is what makes it all the important, because the Sound of Thunder, that was early 50s, right?
I don't know when the book was, but that sounds right for the book. It certainly took forever to be made into a movie, and it is sort of a guilty pleasure for me. I find that movie so nuts. I can't.
Who was in that one? Because I want to say I remember.
Ben Kingsley is the nutty billionaire who controls the time travel. It's Ed Burns.
Oh, Ed Burns.
Back when Ed Burns for 15 minutes was an action star.
Yeah. Well, why don't we talk about a great time travel film for a minute and just kind of explore that?
Ashton Kutcher? What?
Time After Time.
Yes. I mean, I love this film.
It's terrific movie.
What a where's my
great
sound?
film.
And novelist and inventor H.G. Wells invites you to join him on a flight from London to San Francisco. In under a minute, you will be transported to a bizarre and fantastic new age.
Have you guys ever seen Time After Time?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Long time ago.
Yeah, who hasn't?
No pun intended.
And I got to see the official sequel to that, which was Big Bang Theory, when they all chipped in and they bought the time machine and had it delivered to their apartment.
Oh my God. That's like one of the few episodes that I saw. I remember that.
Wow.
I love that. I love this film. I when I was a kid, I love this film. I love the whole concept of it. That here's H.G. Wells that actually literally does create a time machine and goes back to try to stop the Ripper murders, only to find out that Jack the Ripper is now in 1979, right, Steve? I think he's.
Oh yeah. You know what's interesting? When I started writing the screenplay of Stoker and Wells, set in, let me make sure, 1894. You write an outline and the treatment, and then you sit and you start to write it. And one of the first things that you realize, I have to figure something out, is now you're writing dialogue. And the first thing I started to think of, what did his friends call him? Herbert? Did they call him H? Did they call him HG? What did they call him? I said, I know what I'll do. Nicholas Meyer, who wrote and directed Time After Time, he's a very knowledgeable guy, historical guy, all this stuff. So I put the film in again, and I said, oh my gosh, it takes place like a year before my story. It's going to be great. And I'm watching it going, oh my God, there was absolutely nothing historically accurate about who H.G. Wells was at this time. He was out of work. He was just recently divorced. He'd been fired, like living with his mother. Like it was like nothing. And I'm sitting there going, and he hadn't published his first most popular Time Machine. And so I said, let me go to the IMDb user comments, which I think they've retired because too many people were writing nasty things that even IMDb couldn't take. And I said, I'm going to see a whole thread about how historically inaccurate this movie is. Bupkis. All there was things about how historically inaccurate the Jack the Ripper story is. The part that you cannot verify, there are all these little guys at their computers going, that's not right. That's not the way Jack the Ripper was. Yeah. And I'm sitting there going, but the stuff about H.G. Wells, which is so, and I said, wow, Nicholas Meyer is brilliant because he's a guy who knows exactly his history. And he went, yeah, the audience won't care. I'm going to make him in a nice suit, having a nice party, very rich, because you know what? They don't care. And he was right. There's literally nobody who talks about Time After Time saying that wasn't who H.G. Wells was at that time. People just go for it. So
they put in Malcolm McDowell and they're like, look, Clockwork Orange. I mean, if you can do Kubrick, you can do this. Right. They're not going to look any deeper than that. And you were right.
Although that guy's one of my best friends. Don't talk about him.
But a lot of
I thought he was a great Wells, but I did not know H.G. Wells. So
personally, you didn't know.
no,
that.
I did not.
Well,
But
how do you-
I like his portrayal of him. I love this film as a kid, right? I mean, when we were kids. So
Yeah, no, I like the film a lot, and Wells was definitely well, he was certainly shorter than Malcolm McDowell, but he was definitely a slim little fellow until wealth, kind of increased his girth as it is wont to do. So
indeed,
as he went on. So a lot of people criticized at the time Wells wasn't so skinny, and they look at photos taken of Wells in 2010s and 20s, when he was well fed and all that stuff. Back then he was a starving, young man. So
wait a minute. So I'm seeing photos of Victorian, Edwardian, not Victorian.
make up your mind, Edwardian or Victorian,
and
fella.
no one's
Choose a
fat.
lane.
Remember, Fatty Arbuckle was 220.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how tall is? I mean, he seems to be a big man. Was he 6 feet, maybe? But I think Fatty Arbuckle was 220, and he was fatty.
Yeah, that's nothing.
But back in the day, because they were so poor, the majority of people, that they were eating meat,
Right?
And mutton, for God's sakes, and
cat.
What is mutton exactly?
Mutton. That
Old
MLT
goat.
where that mutton is nice and lean.
Yeah.
everyone had,
like
everyone
that
had a
mutton.
goat, bro. Everyone had a goat in their backyard.
Mutton is an old goat, isn't it? Or is it just goat in general?
Just goat.
Ew.
Just goat.
Hey,
Totally lamb,
so
but
where do you think Robert Heinlein fits in the realm of his portion of time travel theology?
Listen, no one told me this was going to be a quiz show. For God's sakes.
I know,
Man,
right?
I love time travel, and you brought it.
I know.
I mean, we've been drinking it. St.
I
Patty's Day
don't
weekend.
I don't have an tell me, where do you think? That's more important.
Well, I mean, in 1941,
You guys like girls?
He created the bootstrap paradox,
Mhm.
I do.
which is like my favorite. It's absolutely my favorite thing when it comes to time. So essentially, what happens is there's a guy. Robert Heinlein creates a short story called "By My Bootstraps,"
Mhm.
and basically, like, he's stuck in the middle of nowhere, and he finds this journal, and this journal gives him all the details that he needs to get around and safely make it back home. But when he gets back home, he finds out that he's the one that wrote the journal. And it's like,
that's cool.
They had the same, they introduced the same thing in Doctor Who as well. It's like, this guy is a time traveler and he wants, oh my God.
Hello.
He's a time traveler and he wants to get, he wants to get some stuff, signed by Mozart, right?
So let me tell you a story. Blevins.
Oh, you're not
Is
gonna
that-
let that, okay.
No, is that Stephen Peros wrote a film, 9th grade, maybe, Steve? About the guy, if you remember
I'm
this.
afraid.
And correct me if I'm totally wrong, about the guy that goes back in time to stop the Kennedy assassination.
Did I
And he
write-
runs to the grassy knoll.
Oh yeah, like a little short story.
And
or
he
something,
runs
yeah.
to the grassy knoll to grab the rifle from the man, because he knows the guys at the grassy knoll, Andy Smith, and grabs
Right.
the rifle.
Sure.
And by his grabbing the rifle, because the first shot's missed, he's the one that grabs the rifle and pushes it and causes the headshot. Do you remember that? Steve?
Two things. Wait, hold on. Two things is that's very clever, and two, I can't take credit for it. I think you're thinking of one of your other sci-fi friends.
I don't think so. I thought it was you. I
You sure
remember
it's not an
seeing your
orchid?
face.
You sure it's not
grabbed
a-
the rifle?
You sure it's not Steve Orkin or Tom Wepler or
Oh, I think it was
Somebody else?
Lepler.
yeah,
No, it could be Steve Orkin. He could be.
yeah, could
But
be.
Steve wasn't that passionate.
Oh,
I don't know.
hey,
I
he's a
don't remember
passionate-
any of that. I watched Oliver Stone's JFK, and that was not in there.
Well, let's.
All I know is
asking-
it was one shooter and it was Oswald, right, Dennis? One shooter.
Oh boy.
100%. I spent a week there. Me and Ethan spent 3 days down there, and it totally was Oswald was the only shooter. But speaking of
Exactly.
a shooter, let's talk about a shooter winner. Car Draft Awakening.
Oh, why? Thank you.
What?
That's a great segue.
Thank you, Andy Smith, Dennis Turner. Boys,
Hello.
talk about this. What is this new campaign?
Oh, it is launching hopefully April 13th. It is the
Wait a minute. You said it was April 6th.
It can't be because that's South Carolina Comic-Con that
That's right.
I totally
We are
forgot about.
on.
Yeah, we're all going to be there. South Carolina Comic Con.
Yeah. Are you actually going, or are you just
I
saying
am,
that?
I am going to be there.
Oh,
I gotta cancel now. Anyhow,
Oh, that's
I'm kidding. I can't wait to see you and give you a
I thought we were
big.
I'm gonna be your booth babe.
All right.
I'm gonna give you a big
my
noogie.
elevator pitch. Are you ready, Andy?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. In the mystical realm of the Shattered Reach, where ancient enchantments clash with malevolent sorcery, a lone warrior named Kordrath embarks on a treacherous quest. His aim
like it.
to shield the tribe of his beloved Adriana from the clutches of the nefarious undead and the formidable leader Vordoom the Undying, a fearsome half-giant lich. Along this perilous journey, Kordrath must confront newfound adversaries, all while unearthing legendary artifacts that holds the key to vanquishing the encroaching darkness. Brace yourself for a breathtaking voyage complete with thrilling skirmishes, enchanting vistas, and hair-raising twists at every turn.
There you go. Look at that. That's what it is. It is the follow-up to the smash hit Kordrath the Reckoning. You definitely want to sign up for it. Like I said, April 13th will be the day. And if you sign up, you'll get the lovely Adriana trading card drawn by me, colored by Kelsey Shannon. And of course, front of the line shipping. We've got some great stuff lined up for this campaign. We've been working on it the past few days. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting. I'm working on pages for it. We've got pages colored that you'll see when the campaign launches. Bud Root's variant cover. Dan Lawless.
Bud Root variant?
Another Bud Root.
Oh yeah, another
Yeah,
Bud Root
nice.
variant.
I mean, we love the Andy Smith art.
Is there boobies?
Oh.
So where's the Bud Root?
I can't. We are debuting the Bud Root cover next Wednesday when Dan Lawless joins the show, since he colored it.
Tune in there.
So Wednesday, and I'll tell you, it features Adriana. So
Uh-oh.
Will this
There you
also be
go.
launching on crowdfundingcomics.com as well?
it could. I mean, maybe down the road, we'll just right out of the gate, it'll be Indiegogo, and then we'll let it run there for a while. So
Nice.
there you have it.
It looks great,
There
boys.
you have it. Well, thank you.
Yep.
Mm,
Yeah,
thank
You
you very
guys
much.
do deliver. I love seeing those videos. You guys arguing when you're fulfilling Dennis and Andy.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't see the one with Andy dancing and singing, because that
Yes.
one was rough.
Well, he was singing to you. First of all, Mr.
Yeah,
Homer
exactly.
It's
Exactly.
2024, and he can't sing a song to you.
Right. To my buddy.
To me,
Wow.
the
Way to
neighbors were the
Your
ones
best is
yelling, going,
whole
"Shut
world."
up over there! Just fill your books."
way not to appreciate it. I put a lot of thought into that, you bastard.
What song were you
Damn.
singing? What song
I
were
don't
you singing?
remember.
Oh,
I
no,
should just
it was
erase it from my mind now, because Dennis obviously didn't care.
It was
Yeah.
Starship.
Oh,
Nothing's gonna stop us
Dennis?
now.
It was something like that. And we
Probably was.
build our dreams together. Andy's like, not with me.
Nothing's gonna stop us
Forever.
now.
Nothing's gonna stop us now. He's like,
us
nope, not me.
now.
Nope, nope.
He's like,
And
turn
Andy
into the
was so-
mic, Dennis.
Dennis was so uncomfortable, Andy, and you were singing your heart out.
I was. I
Your
always
heart
do.
out.
I always do. He never appreciates it.
I was thinking somebody was going to deliver a rose from next door because it was so beautiful.
I feel
Have
like
you
a
guys
battered
seen-
wife. I just keep coming back, and I don't know why.
The city, nice.
Now imagine.
Oh, it
hearing
was that
for like
song, I
12
think.
Hours every
You
day.
got a super chat.
Oh, super chat.
Boom. Hail panel and chat. How many of you guys are actually Irish? I'm half Scottish, so I can hold my own, but no Irish as far as now.
Nope.
Thank you, Paul.
On my
God-
mom's
God
side.
bless you. Good for you. Fuck the
I'm a-
Irish, bro.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
Italian.
a Scot. Sorry,
I am on my mom's side, so
Man.
I got a little bit.
I have a little bit of
Irish-
Irish in me too.
I
though,
wish
so.
I was Scottish.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Oh,
I wish I
I
was
see what you
Scottish.
did there.
See what it did?
I see. what
I
you did.
did.
All
Kind
right,
of
I'm
like
going
the
to
name
share
of the
something
drink.
else now, because here's something pretty cool.
By the way, I love
What
that
is
thumbnail thing. What the?
Well, Billy,
Say
put
you
on the
want
other
it.
one first so people can see this. So give
Oh,
me
I
the screen. Give me
apologize.
the
Hang on,
screen
hang on,
first,
go
Billy.
back.
Give me the screen first.
What a great book. I
Ah.
bought this book. Stephen Perros. Dennis Turner, you're a huge sci-fi fan, monster fan. Go with this book, brother. Good job.
This is a book. It debuted in the top 10 of Amazon for horror movie books. Giant Beast Cinema. I'm the editor of it. I wrote 5 chapters along with the other 6 people you see listed on that cover. Some of the movies we cover include all of these great movies: King Kong, Son of Kong. Where we get me up there, baby. Get me up there.
Yeah,
Wrong way. Wrong way.
No, I apologize, Steve. I'll go big with you. Hang on.
Yeah, go big with me, baby. Go big or go home.
Heck yeah, I'll go big.
That's right.
You, oh God.
Hang
on, Steve. Hang on.
Yep.
There you go.
King Kong, Son of Kong, Devil Bat, Mighty. I'm just skipping around. Mighty Joe Young, Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, War of the Gargantuas. Hello. Yeah. King Kong escapes. Basically, these are giant claw. Monster that challenged the world, a cat and a crab monster. This is a follow-up to a book called Giant Bug Cinema, which is all about giant. I was one of the writers on that, and that went to #1 on Amazon. So we pitched the publisher a sequel and say, how about giant creatures that aren't bugs? And that became Giant Beast Cinema, which I'm very proud of. So this one I took much more of a guiding hand. I helped select the writers. Wrote 5 chapters. This one I came in at the 11th hour. But this one I was really much more involved in, and we got nominated for, Billy, you can put it up now.
Hang on. Stop screen.
Come on, Billy.
Where's your page, Steve?
You just dropped it, bro. You just closed his share.
Oh, I made him small. I'm sorry.
Well, that's
we were nominated for what is called.
Hang on.
Hello, Andrew. How are you? There it is. So we were nominated.
That's Niall Gala. That's
Book
not
of
me.
the Year by the Rondo Hatton Classic Horror Awards. Yes, you all know it. It's on the tip of your tongue. Book of the Year Nonfiction 2023. And Billy, put on that next, because you're going to be amazed at what I'm about to tell you next. Put on that next.
I'm ready to go, bro.
Go ahead, baby.
Boom.
So the Rondo Awards are decided by you, the people, even if you're not even a person, even if you don't consider, if you consider yourself half a man, you can vote for the Rondo Awards. Now, they have a lot of different awards, film awards, literature awards, and I encourage you to go to the Rondo Award website. But the Rondo Awards allows you to vote for just one thing if you want. Oh, by the way, they also have a graphic novel category, so please go check it out at Rondo Awards. But if you want to just support my book and those She fans, I hope you do. If you want to support, all you need to do is literally send an email to tarako@aol.com and just say, I'm voting for Giant Beast Cinema for Book of the Year Nonfiction, but you have to write your name at the bottom. You can't not write your name, and just hit send, and that will give us a vote. Of course, I would love for you to get the book. The book's on Amazon. The book, Giant Beast Cinema, is available on Amazon, and I encourage you to read it. I'm a big fan of it, because I wrote 5 chapters and edited it. So but that's my book that I'm very proud of. I hope you'll all read it. You can read a night. On Amazon you can read free sample, and it's the first few pages, and you actually can read my opening chapter on King Kong, which I'm really proud of. Because my all-time favorite film. I wrote it wearing the T-shirt Billy Tucci bought me, and I think I wrote it.
I mean, Steve, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about King Kong, as a film. And guys, we're all film guys here. We're all film fans. Steve's a filmmaker.
Sure.
What was it about King Kong, as you as a young lark, circa 1972? Probably 4 years old, 5 years old, whatever, 6 years old, whatever you were. What was about Kong when you saw Kong? Now, Steve, again, Steve's one of my best friends for, holy shit, dude, coming on 50 years, bro. Holy crap. But Steve is blessed with wonderful parents who that encourage their love of cinema, of art, and stuff like that. And you had 2 older brothers that were film fans, are writers. Your brother Michael is a fantastic biographer and a writer in his own right, and teacher.
He wrote chapters in Giant Beast Cinema. He's certainly qualified. He's like I said, he's a film reviewer for an online website, and he is on NoHo Arts Weekly. He wrote 2 major biographies of actors. Yeah.
So what was about Kong though?
I'll tell you about. I mean, Kong. I don't think it changes. I think Kong's appeal to the people who love it, whether they were Ray Harryhausen and Forrest J. Ackerman seeing it in 1933 at Grauman's Chinese when they were children, to the monster kids who watched it on television on their syndicated channels pre-VHS, like Halley's Comet. There's this thing on, I got to watch it or I'll miss it till the next time it's on.
That's right.
It's so transporting. It is a film that was so ahead of its time when it came out. Audiences weren't expecting, didn't really even deserve that level of sophistication in special effects that film provided. And so audiences, we don't realize it now, were terrified watching King Kong. They were totally transported. And as a kid who, we don't have such fidelity, certainly in our childhood, fidelity to, it has to look realistic. You know, Ray Harryhausen, the great special effects guy, did all the Sinbad movies. He said, you know, special effects.
Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, he right, the original Clash of the Titans. He said effects, his vision of effects were they were supposed to look like they were from a dream. Not realism wasn't what he was striving for, that it absolutely had to convince you of its realism, not to convince you of its fantastical qualities. And so I think that's what King Kong does. It totally transports you. I mean, it's a movie as a boy you love because it's just all about adventure, and what little there is of romance is kind of very innocent, and it's kind of what you imagine romance is like, and it doesn't overstay its welcome, so you don't need to get up and go to get popcorn. You're kind of, plus, you know, Fay Ray, every little boy is like, oh gosh, she's so beautiful.
Oh
so,
God, yeah, and so innocent, Stephen, as he's lowering her dress, the top of her dress.
Hey, easy, we got children on here.
No, but you know, I love the idea of Kong because you have to think 1933, 5 years earlier is when the jazz singer debuted, the first talkie film.
Mm-hmm.
So the films were silent, and the majority of films were silent, still going until like 31, right? For the most part.
Well, yeah, well, only with someone like Chaplin. Silent films. Yeah. I mean, the Jazz Singer in 27 is partly sound, but it started a revolution. All the studios, most of the studios took a lot of their big films and then tried to insert other sound sections. Alfred Hitchcock's Murder, a bunch of different films tried to find ways to sneak in sound. It isn't the first all-talkie. The first all-talkie was 28 or 29. And then the only person who was doing any kind of silent film after that was Chaplin, because Chaplin said, yeah, no thanks. And did Modern Times, City Lights, all in the 30s. It really wasn't until The Great Dictator that he surrendered to the talkie era. But that's 1940, you know.
Yeah, 41.
But it's because he's Chaplin. That's why, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I just love the idea because the talkies, there were, I think, and Andy Smith, and join in with me on this one. The talkies, there was a big transition year in 31 when the cameras started to move.
Yes.
Right. You had Dracula. You had we'll go with the horror. You had Dracula. You had Frankenstein, and then you had Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So here's it, because remember, if you ever see a couple, you know, documentaries on them or some of the Netflix films about the transition from silent to talkies, how big the sound engineers, you know, like the sound, whatever capturing equipment at the time, they were like IBM computers in 1950s.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if I can just, I wanted to just jump in and say, so what happened was, you watch film, anybody's a student of the silent era, particularly the late silent era, the camera's moving. The camera's just moving all over the place. You watch Sunrise, F.W. Murnau's Sunrise, 1927. The camera moves. Then the sound era comes in, and suddenly it becomes stage bound, right, as Billy's saying, because they don't know there's all this sound equipment and it's going to make too much noise. And so you have a lot of film of the early 30s that are much less visually dynamic than films of the 20s. But if you want to see how fast Hollywood learned, just compare Frankenstein, 1931, to Bride of Frankenstein, 1935. They solved all the problems.
Yeah.
And Bride is very visually dynamic. Very visually dynamic.
And here's the thing that Paul Taylor, the great Paul Taylor, posted, is that my favorite film of all time, as Stephen knows, 1938's The Adventures of Robin Hood, with starring Errol Flynn. That's 3 years later than than Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
5 years later, then you know what I mean? Like it's from 1938. Like as Stephen was saying, the technology and the where to wall and what they learned. It's astonishing of what Hollywood learned.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, and that film, all those the great ones, right? I mean, you know, we may laugh at or giggle at Bela Lugosi and all, but you cannot deny Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. I mean, you know, the shocking effects of it all, of the and the emotion of it. A great thanks to Boris Karloff, and also you know Colin Clive. What a great cast he had and stuff like that. and you know James Whale, you know, like those guys. They were. It's amazing, like artists like James Whale, Michael Curtiz, directors like that, how they were able to adapt so quickly.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. I mean, Hitchcock just got it right away. I mean, he's already experimenting with sound in his first sound movie. I mean, he's already saying,
right.
When did Hitchcock start directing?
Oh, that's an excellent question. Wikipedia can answer, but
he was doing silent films.
Oh yeah, totally doing silent.
Oh yeah, God, Marcus.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know he went that far back.
Yeah. Wow. He started working. He was an art director, I believe, first, and you know, Europe. There was a lot of the kind of thing we don't have anymore, and certainly not here in this country, which is you work your way up, you apprentice, and so he worked with great directors before he became one. But he was so smart; they knew they had to get him going fast. So he was directing in his 20s. The Lodger is one of his great silent films. Blackmail, Murder, then incorporates sound. But again, he already said sound. This is very interesting. This sound thing, and he was doing off-camera sounds and all sorts of interesting. He was already doing interesting sound design at the birth of the sound era, which is insane.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me.
What was Hitchcock's last movie?
Family Plot. With Bruce. It's a kind of a black comedy. But if you want to, you know, Tarantino's talking about, well, I don't think, you know, directors get old, they do their worst movies. Maybe I'll retire young. Maybe this will be my last movie. All you have to do is see Hitchcock's Frenzy, which is his second to last movie. And it's you know, it's violent, it's dark, it's edgy, it's scary. And he was, I don't know how old he was at the time he made it, 80? I have something like that. But yeah, he was directing up through the 1970s.
Yeah, just Kevin says Hitchcock began in 25 with shorts in 23.
Yeah,
that's amazing. And Stephen,
I didn't know that.
I just sent an email giving you a vote to that AOL address. So I am waiting to see if it gets kicked back to see if that's a real email address.
Oh, okay, Mr. Hotmail. This is coming from a guy who has a freaking Hotmail.
I was one of the original Hotmail guys, yes. And
hang on, we need to bring the married couple back together. Let me just drop this down.
He's got Hotmail that he pays for every month still. It's like, Dennis, you can have it for free. Nope. It just gets sucked right out of my account.
How did you newlyweds meet? How did you the love of Andy and Dennis happen in Blanc?
Well, somebody dared me to go into a gay
when dinner's over, I like to blank
in San Francisco, and I was like, I'll do anything for a dare. So I go into this gay bathhouse, and there's Dennis performing with a few other gentlemen,
dressed as Conan.
Yeah.
He asked Andy if he wanted the long sword.
I do have to ask though, Stephen, I saw on the back of there was a movie I know I didn't see on there. It doesn't even ring a bell with me. The Devil Bat.
Oh, The Devil Bat is Lugosi. It's the second. So we put this in order. So Kong is 33, then Son of Kong. Devil Bat is 1940. It's Lugosi is that not just a mad scientist, he's a mad perfume maker. You of course know these people; they're out there. So he's working for this beauty company that they bought the company from him. They made millions and they pay him thousands, and he gets a little pissed and he finally says, "You know what? I've had enough of this," and he says, "I'm going to make a perfume that only bats will be attracted to. So I will put it on the necks of my intended victims. And then I will let my bat loose to then bite them on the neck. But that's not enough. Somehow he's also inexplicably created a formula to enlarge a bat so that this he turns a bat from this big to the side like a bald eagle, like a giant bald eagle. And somehow that's going to like seal the deal somehow. So that is the Devil Bat's a public domain. It's on YouTube. Probably there's some crappy prints and some good ones.
Lord.
Watch one.
Yeah, what is with this? What's going on?
What's happening?
I'm sorry, Steven. My God.
Oh no.
Oh,
yes, aftershave.
I don't understand what the problem is. You come up with great ideas in all these weird places.
All right, let's get back to the subject. A film like Casablanca, right? Great genre film.
Yeah.
A lot of these in studio, in set, films. They started the whole noir thing started coming about. Which and guys, correct me, but they started playing with. Ready for this, Andy Smith? Chiaroscuro.
Oh
yes, chiaroscuro. The lighting, all about lighting and mood.
I'll see you guys later. I gotta go, but I'll see you guys later. Thanks for having me.
Why'd you have to bring that up, Billy? Now Blevins has to leave.
It was the bathhouse that did it.
It was either that or the assassination, the Kennedy assassination.
I love you, brother. I'll talk to you in the bar, pal.
Yeah, nothing.
See you later, buddy.
Yeah, see you guys later. Peace.
Bye,
chat. Peace.
Peace.
Now you were talking about film noir, Billy. Go on.
Yeah, so we go into film noir now. So now you start getting guys like, let's just say Raymond Chandler, right? Dime store novel writers, great novelists, great writers. They start getting hired by Hollywood and moving in. And it's all about the words and and they're all very, look at The Black Sleep. They're very small, intimate films, if you will. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong. But I loved how they were able to take the early 40s or the 40s, the late 30s going into that. And they started playing tricks with, or not playing tricks, the effects of lighting to really really focus on the dramatics of it. The film started getting smaller, Steve. Help me out here, right? Like it started getting more personal. Aside from these giant, Griffith epics, things like that.
Warner Brothers was always doing crime films, and then what was called the Hays Code came in the early 30s, where the Catholic League of Decency came in and they said, no, you can't have kids are wanting to emulate gangsters. You gotta stop having gangsters as the leads in movies, and if you do, they have to be punished, they have to be killed, and all these independent women who are having their power and their agency, none of that. Loose women. We've got, if a woman, has an affair or this or that, she's got to be punished. So all this stuff started happening. So movies of the early 30s are much more adult than the mid 30s, late 30s. World War II, but the leads become cops. It's very clear who the good guys and bad guys are. World War II comes, shakes up everybody's perception of just what kind of evil is in the world, what kind of moral complexity is in the world. So it's no surprise that this genre called film noir, which was only labeled film noir years after by the French, because they started looking, what are these weird, interesting American films, these psychologically complicated American films? They started in the late 40s. They're post-war. They're filmmakers, a lot of filmmakers coming back from the war. Everyone from
Capra, a lot of
these people came back, and writers, they all came back, and they started. Now, oddly, they went back to literature that was pre-war, Double Indemnity and Postman Always Rings Twice. And then they started making those movies during the film noir era, because finally film was ready for it. Was ready for these kind of gray stories. So but those cinematographers all come from German Expressionism. That's where you get those
Caligari.
Darks and lights and use of lenses to distort and nightmare sequences, and all of that was being done heavily in the 20s, kind of went away, and then came back during the film noir era. So again, they also, a lot of them were made on the cheap. So you get real creativity when you only have a limited budget in any art form. It's an amazing art form that one can.
It is. When you see like L.B. Mayer, and he wants to start spitting. I mean, he ran that studio like a corporation, I guess, right? Like from the top, like it's about making money, bam, bam, bam. But all of these guys, and there's a great documentary called 5 Came Back. of 6 filmmakers who went to war, and they shot fire, whatever. So they were literally on the front lines with a camera, and these guys were with the infantrymen, whatever, and they're in battles and filming it. Who was case in point? Who was the one guy? Was
Ford
at Midway? Who?
No, not Henry Hathaway. Who
He
is
lost
it?
his eye. He lost his
Raoul Walsh? No.
Walsh lost his eye at Midway. So he went and he was there at Midway when Midway was bombed before the giant battle of Midway. And then these guys came back, and when before they went to the war, of course, fascism, we have to stop that, all this stuff. But they're immigrants, right? They're poor. They all grew up poor, and that was their duty. But then they see war, and then they come back, and that's why, again, with the film noir, a lot of that stuff. I love how the films become far more smaller, more personable. I love that, and you see any of those films. You look at even Sunset Boulevard. It's a small film. You talk about like and then the love of the silent stars, of how huge they were. Again, we can go through this whole thing, but and then they were just forgotten. And there's a great card scene. If you haven't seen Sunset Boulevard, watch the card scene with Norma Desmond and her card players, because Buster Keaton's there and stuff like that. These guys were giants. Harold Lloyd, multi millionaires. Yep. And they were just kind of lost in time in a way, sort of.
Well, even Max, her valet, butler, chauffeur, we learned was like a great director.
Yeah.
That's why I was the first husband.
Strong, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh God, it's great stuff. It's Andy Smith. What?
I was just gonna say, back to King Kong real quick. Who has? I'm sure somebody has it. Has to have the original, King Kong that they use for posing and stuff, right?
Yeah, there were a few.
I think just Kevin posted who has that. Hang on, I'm gonna
Oh, I didn't.
Kevin, really?
I mean, I assume there were more than just one.
Hollywood historian Bob Burns owned both the original King Kong model and the time machine prop.
Oh shit!
Didn't Forey Ackerman have one of the?
He had a Brontosaurus. I think he had Mighty Joe Young, and Burns may have Kong. I'm not sure. There were a couple of different Kongs. I don't know if there was just one for the movie. There may have, but yes, I think Bob Burns does have it. I think that's correct. Bob Burns is this guy, this beloved figure. I think hasn't been well the last several years, but he wound up amassing a huge amount of collectibles from huge movies, from King Kong. I think he was the first owner of the Time Machine. He bought that from MGM. So his estate has it. I don't know what museum or who he is willing it to, or whether it's just going to go up for auction. But hopefully, it won't all get split up. But he's got a lot of amazing stuff.
Wow.
Bob Burns.
How large was the King Kong that they did? The
16,
figure,
I think 16 inches tall.
Yeah,
16 inches.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's bigger than I thought it
Girthy,
was. Okay.
It was a girthy model.
Yeah, and of course, because the materials, the foam and the rubber, there is no. All that's left is the armature and like a couple of scraggly things attached to it, because it wasn't made to last. So
really?
Yeah, it decomposed.
So that's really, so if you looked at it, you'd have no idea what you were looking at.
Yeah, well, it looks like an ape, but it's the metal armature with fingers and
that's what I meant.
Like
it's just,
like a skeleton. It's like you're looking at a skeleton.
Well, Wilson
O'Brien.
It's like it looks like Terminator. It looks like Terminator after he's been burned.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, you have to think Willis O'Brien crafted that, right? And what did he use? Did he use an animal pelt? Because it's definitely animal fur, because you could see the fingerprints and stuff like that.
Which he remedied a year later. They did better on that in Son of Kong.
Oh, really?
And by Mighty Joe Young, they really had done a good job. But yeah, it was always real fur, depending on which animal they used.
Was it beaver? It had to be something really,
I forget offhand, but there was one that was used for Kong, and then they didn't use it for Sun.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it was real fur.
I think it was beaver, actually.
Yeah.
I think it was beaver.
Kong really tugged at the heartstrings. I got to tell you that, Dennis Turner.
Yeah. But Marcel Delgado was who actually made the physical models. Willis O'Brien was not as much a model, although he would he did all the drawings and so forth and supervised. He actually had a model maker who did the model.
No shit. Well, Steve, let me ask you, what was, say, the Tyrannosaurus Rex that battled Kong? What was the T-Rex made out of?
That's a good question. I do not
It
know.
was
I have books in the other room that answer the question. I just can't answer.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it was a rubber that they used to make him.
Yeah, well, I could have said there was a rubber. I mean, I'm just trying to be more specific, for God's sake.
Guys, we're talking about rubbers and beavers now. Let's stay on track.
What?
Jesus.
Dennis is a
rubbers, beavers.
Green Bay Packers
I feel like
fan.
Andy's the only one that gets me. Andy's the only one that gets me.
You're about to get Dennis.
That is
turned
not
on with
saying
talk
much.
like this.
That is not saying much.
You still didn't tell me how you two met.
Comic shop. I used to work at a shop, and we just got interviewed for it today. That was funny because Courtney was here doing the interview, and that was one of the questions. I was working at a shop, and he would come in every Wednesday. I got my books. We would just start talking. I made a lot of friends there. Andy and I found out, he likes a lot of the same movies, the same comics. He knew I was a comic appraiser and a big collector. And he goes, so we started talking, and I was like, I like everything except Green Lantern. And then it just went on from there. So, we just found out that we had a lot of similar interests, and, we started hanging out more and more, and we just kind of became friends, and we started doing.
Next thing you know, it was David Spade and Chris Farley all over again.
There you go.
He was coming to my house. He was coming to my house, putting on coats, going big guy in a little coat, and I'm like, "Would you stop? I can't keep buying these damn things, you bastard." Well, that's been about 10 years. It's been about 10 years.
And me and Billy are on like 6 years, but no big.
Yeah, but see, Andy Smith has a palatial estate, so we're hanging out in the backyard. And guess what? His lovely wife brought us dinner.
What?
She did. Yes, she did in the backyard. Stephen Perros. Heck yeah, we're out in the backyard smoking cigars at the Andy Smith. Dare I say the manse? Right? Let's say that. I don't say mansion, but a manse, I guess.
That's right.
Cigars. Andy in the black. Dennis in the black shirt. 85 degrees.
No
Okay,
sleeves.
good on you. And all of a sudden, who comes out? The lovely Helen.
That's right.
What did you eat? What did she bring you?
Oh, my pizzas, chicken nuggets. Oh, my. All
chicken wings. Come on now. Not nuggets, wings.
It's like an 11-year-old's birthday party.
Yeah.
She stopped at McDonald's just for Billy.
Steve Perros. It was a giant kiddie party. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Andy and his stupid friends.
Hold on.
That's right.
And his wife, who's this beautiful, professional woman, right? She's always, dressed up, and she though came out and here's your wings and here's your. It was one
part two.
Well done,
part
bro.
2 this year,
well
right?
Well done, Dad.
Yeah. Pop the picture up. I've got it right there for you.
Got to do part 2 this year.
Heck yeah!
Because you forgot to mention Dan Boom.
What?
Old cap.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
What is Dan up to? What's old Fragaboom?
What?
He's working on his book.
Working.
Yeah.
Working.
He's got like 5 young kids. He's got like kids like 5 years old, bro.
Well, we're going to be at Garden State.
He's got kids like your age, and he's
Garden State, dude.
Can you and Graham stop fighting over me? I mean, it's flattering, but
who, me?
Yeah.
Well, he said Dennis doesn't know what's trying. He said Niall said, "I'll be your booth babe" or something to Graham, and I was like, "Whoa, you didn't even offer for me." And he goes, "That's what Dennis is for." And I was like, "Dennis isn't coming up this year."
You have your boy toy.
Boy toy, number one. Number 2, I'm not even going because I am going for the first time ever. I will be in San Francisco and Sacramento and Carson.
Finally going to visit that gay bathhouse.
The one that you went
to. Reminiscing. Reminiscing.
Yeah, I gave you the address.
They're like, you're friends with Andy. Oi.
Dennis told me he can't wait to go.
I'm going to hang out with Andy because I don't think Graham really cares.
That's right. I know. Dennis said he can't wait to go to San Francisco so he can take a dump on the streets like everybody else.
Oh my God.
he could just be walking down the street and be like, "I got to use the bathroom," and his wife will be like, "We'll find one," and he's like, "What are you talking about? San Francisco." drop it, go, and then just
You're
be
really
on
not
your
going,
merry way.
Dennis? Dennis, you're really not
They
going?
do have an app for that, by the way, that allows you to
Yes, there's a poop.
circumnavigate all the
Yes.
streets that
Are you
does
serious?
that.
That's right.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
there's an app for
the
that.
city of San Francisco actually released the poop app
No.
of
Yes.
where fecal matter is on the streets.
Is that
and ways
true,
to
Steve?
avoid them.
Is that true?
It
Yes.
is true.
100%. Yeah.
Yes.
Anywho, I wanted to go, so I'm in San Francisco. I did WonderCon, which was there, and Keith Boski, Steve Peros. Here's to Keith. God bless. Keith said, "I'm going to take you to the most authentic Chinese restaurant I know there." And oh my God, it opened up with chicken feet. That was
Chicken feet are good, man.
That was the appetizer. Because, like, give us what you want. We want authentic Chinese cuisine. You know.
Did you
And
eat them?
You know, chicken feet, Steve Peros. I gotta tell you, buddy, I ate them chicken feet. I chewed on them suckers like a rat in the subway. I didn't give a shit. And you know what? They were great. So don't deny the chicken feet. They're pretty freaking good. There's a lot of meat on them feet.
Chicken
You know
feet
what?
are actually pretty good.
They
pretty
were really good.
They're
They were really
gross to look at, and you got to kind of get over the gelatin skin. But it depends on how they make it. But it's not bad. There is a lot of meat on them.
I have heard it tastes like chicken.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like sucking on the toes of a beautiful woman.
Wait, Niall, look what I'm going to do with your technology. Watch.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh, Steve, are you
Right over top of it.
Hey, I experimented with AI for the first time, guys. Boom! Look at that.
I know. I saw that. That was great.
Yo, bring
Let
that
me know
back
if you
up,
want
Andy
anything. I
Smith.
figured out
Bring
how
that
to
back
do
up,
it.
Niall. That's my new look.
There you go.
I know.
Look at that.
No,
Why is
I
Niall so
disagree.
big though?
No,
That's what I
Billy-
don't understand.
Billy,
Niall's like, I would have make myself a lot bigger.
That's just naturally our proportions, bro.
No.
That's
May I
taken-
just,
so
may
what
I
you
just
do?
say, may I just say, Billy, you look like a lesser Hobbit relative of Jay Leno in that picture.
Hobbit relative.
I would just you look much better. I don't like the hairstyle. The hairstyle just doesn't work. None of it works. Don't go for it.
No, he looks great.
No, the gin
Yeah,
blossom.
he looks great because
On
it
the
makes you look great.
Yeah.
To have that
Right.
guy,
No,
to have that
that's
creature
a real-
next
Yeah,
to
why
you
does
makes you
Niall
look
in that
great.
picture
That's
have
a
hair?
real
What's
photo.
that
Thank
all
you,
about?
Steven. Yes,
Because
thank
I had
you.
hair.
You're
I
right
had hair
now,
in that
Scala.
photo.
Bring that shit
Oh.
back up.
Hang
brother.
on, hang on. I am going to bring up. This is the photo that's taken from. Okay, I'm going to share this here.
Do a little side by side, will you please?
So I imported this
Ah.
photo in, and then I wrote my prompt. Okay,
What
Right.
year is that, bro?
dude, that's from Garden State last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then where's me and Andy?
I actually know that picture.
Look at that. That's me and Andy. I'm like,
There
hey,
you
Andy.
go.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
God, he smelled so good. And
I
you know,
did.
that's just that's what happened. So this
So
is
now
a real, real
I am
proportion.
curious. What AI did you use for it?
I used I'll tell you in a second. GenCraft.
mm.
Okay.
Well, thank you,
That's
Jim
cool.
Craft, because I think I'm better looking in that.
Dude, hey, I gotta tell you
CGI.
something. I'm not an advocate for AI. I think for YouTube thumbnails, it's perfectly fine.
Sure.
But it's fucking hard. It's hard. I had
All
a
right.
better.
No, it's not hard. You gotta
No,
punch
it's
more buttons.
actually
No,
hard
that's
because
you, Niall
you
Scala.
need to understand how to type in prompts. You like how you want to describe things. And there's tools on there that basically take what you write and correct it so that the computer understands. But then you have to edit it because I had one where it was me and Billy, and it was my favorite one, and it's on my other computer.
Oh, you
But,
have a favorite? You have a favorite picture?
I had a black hand. I had a black hand.
Where's
Like
the picture,
a
bro?
Caucasian man, and then it was a black hand over Billy. I forgot to import those in because I wanted to show all the funny.
Great.
Well, I have photos of me and Steven and our beautiful gals, all dolled up, exceptional, and I think we look far better than your AI.
Oh,
Cheating.
really, there's no question. There's no question.
Not at all.
Yeah. Real
So how
photo.
dare you, Niall?
I don't know. I think it's much easier to sit down and grab a pen and paper and draw it out than it is to write because AI is so tough.
Wow. Andy Smith. What is up with that? Because you know what, Andy? You know what, Dennis? You could write a whole battle scene in a day.
A day? You can
No,
write a whole
it
battle
doesn't
scene in
work
like
like
10
an
minutes.
hour.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work like that,
Yeah,
guys.
and then all I have to do is and here's how I could type it up and say, oh, huge battle scene, barbarians, this, boom, 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 and make it a 2-page splash, boom. All right, Andy, go to work.
That's right. And then I'll just get out some Mike Mignola and silhouette the shit out of stuff.
Oh shit!
Well, there's
What? No, I love Mike's stuff. He's a genius.
Mike is awesome.
There's
I'm trying to get him on the show. He's really hard to get a hold of.
There's something someone said about AI writing that one could apply to AI anything, which is why I'll apply it to AI art. Why should I take the time to look at art that no one took the time to draw?
Oh,
There you go.
I love that.
So Stephen, let me ask you this question: as an award-winning screenwriter, how do you feel about this phenomena that's coming about with AI writing scripts, film scripts, all that?
Well, one could argue most of the Transformers movies probably would be the exact same script if someone had written it with AI. But shy of that, it's greater minds than me have mentioned just the complete contradiction of creativity with AI. First of all, no one is actually writing scripts yet with AI. Everything is a business, and if anyone actually writes, if any studio is going to spend the time and the legal fees to have a script generated from AI, which it basically is plagiarism software, why are they going to do it when they can get a writer who will work for Writers Guild minimum? It doesn't make any sense. So you're going to put a script, because audiences don't care. They go to a movie, they just want to make, whatever it is, it's got to be their 14, 15, 16 bucks worth. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
Right.
It's sort of like when they did the movie, oh shoot, what was the first? There was that first movie. Alec Baldwin did a voice. It was all CGI.
Boss Baby.
What's that?
Boss Baby.
No. I'm talking not a kid movie. It was like a fantasy movie. Final Fantasy wasn't it called that? Or
I don't think
know. One of those movies where it was all. Oh my God, there's no real actors. It's all CG and it bombed. It totally tanked. So
yeah, it was a sci-fi movie, right?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Damn it, I saw that. That was in the 90s, right?
Yes, yeah, and it was like everyone feared. Oh my God! But the audiences, they don't go, oh, I can't wait to see a movie where there's no real movie stars that I can see, and a script that's kind of weak, and obviously did not create a trend. And even with movies like the Peter Cushing in the Star Wars movies, showing that yes, we can computer generate three-dimensional actors in movies.
Right.
It's awfully expensive, and it's not really preferable for the audience experience. They want to know that these are live actors and movie stars,
right,
and they can point to them and they can identify them. They want to know that the script is interesting and weird, and AI isn't going to give you that unless it raids. Like I said, I don't think any major studio movie is going to be done with AI because the legalities have not been worked out.
So, Stephen, are you trying to say Disney's latest movie, Wish, was not AI generated? Because, boy, I'm telling you, after watching, I'm like, wow, they got their own AI system. It was the most cut forward, boring, bland thing that I mean, even my niece and nephew were like,
yeah, no, I know, and that's the big problem with the Pixars and all this stuff, is that they keep recycling their own stuff. So in a sense, they're just conscious AI. They are organic AI.
Yes.
And so that's maybe what a studio can do. Paramount will say we'll only raid the Paramount library, but what does that mean? Are you going to owe money to all the Paramount residuals to everybody who you rated in the system? I mean, it's madness. I just don't know. And it's not good business.
Sequels. I mean, look at the movies coming out this year. Okay, Twister. Oh, okay. I mean, literally, when you see the trailer, the script is Twister. Oh, but with a few other characters. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but Twister should never have been made in the first place. What a horrible film. I'm sorry. What a shit movie.
What?
I agree.
Oh my God.
I agree.
It was during that time period though, where they were just doing all that stuff, you know.
Well, they were also because that was the birth of CGI, and they're like, "What else can we do with CGI?
Yeah,
that looks good." And
The
some of
highlight of the
tornadoes.
whole entire film of the trailer was a cow.
Yeah, going by.
That was epic.
And you know, we all love what's his name who passed away sadly
Bill Paxton.
Oh yeah,
Bill
Bill
Paxton,
Paxton,
breathing
yeah.
heavy for no reason through the whole entire film. Well, we got to remember, like he's always breathing heavy, like he just ran a half a mile to talk.
Yeah.
Wow.
Overacting.
And young Philip Seymour Hoffman as one of the storm chasers.
Yes,
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's Helen Hunt. You're not going to recreate it, and if you do, you got to come up with something different. It's literally the same little balls that are going to go flying up. There's the chaser. Oh, no Kiriawe this time, but we got a guy who's just like him. Seriously, every single movie, though, we talked about this on one of the shows. Everything that's coming out is a sequel, a remake, or something that is not at all original. This is like one of the worst years.
Did you see the Crow trailer today?
Brian
they released it.
Came on and he goes, dude, you need to stop what you're doing and watch it. I'm like, I'm finishing a movie now so that I can go on with Billy.
I'll be honest.
Watch it after.
Here's my fence, right? And I don't know if you guys watched the Halo series, but it's like a big issue with like, you know, is it fully canon with the games? And I like the Halo series, right?
My son hates it.
Well, whatever. He doesn't know anything.
Really?
I like it. I think it's good. I think it's a good action war series. I love it. And I'm a huge Crow fan. A huge Crow fan. And I watched that trailer. I saw some of the images a couple weeks ago. Was a little skeptical, like, I don't know. But if you look at the different iterations they've done of the Crow in comics, that look actually makes sense. I watched the trailer and I was like, this is badass. This is badass, just brutal,
really?
Massacre, escapism stuff. And people are shitting all over it. But I'm like, we have to sometimes just put certain things aside and say, but is this going to be a fun movie? Like, I watched that trailer and I was like, that's fucking badass. Yeah, it's not the Crow in the sense of what we know as the Crow in looks, but that still just looks like a badass fucking movie. And when I saw the trailer, I was like, wow, that like totally just beat my expectations.
Well, I mean, I think if you're good, I think there's a philosophy of remake is if you're just going to copy the previous movie, then just re-release the previous movie. So I never really get that the philosophy that you're talking, that people are saying it doesn't look anything like the Crow's supposed to look and all this kind of stuff. I'm one of the few people who like Batman versus Superman for the very reasons everyone hated it, which is Superman is supposed to be this and he's supposed to be that. This one says he's flawed and this says he's got ego issues. I'm like, great. I'd love to see one movie that's a little different than the others. So even if I'd rather see a noble failure than something that's just really excellent mediocrity. That's just absolutely just going right over the plate, exactly what we expect. So I agree with you, Niall. I mean, why do a new Crow movie if your Crow is going to look exactly like the Crow from the 90s?
And you can see there's an homage to the original story, but it's brought differently. You know, it's a bit different, right? And I think people are shitting on it for no reason. I think they're shitting on it to shit on it.
So
there is a lot of that going around.
Yeah.
Well, that's everywhere. Everyone shits on everything for really no reason. Now, there's some things that deserve a good shitting, right? You can shit all over it, but you do have to kind of step back and be like, you're talking about practically a 30-year-old movie. And now you're releasing it in 2024. Like, it's different. It's different. It has to be different. Because otherwise, like Steve says, then just freaking put the original movie back out in theaters.
Right. There should be a reason.
Think about it like this. You nailed it. It's 30 years old, right? So if you look at that time gap compared to the Batman TV show with Adam West,
to
the Batman Michael Keaton film, that was only like 22, 23 years.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, this is 30. I was thinking, I mean, this is a slight tangent, but I was thinking about today. I was listening to some music, from early 80s, right? And my daughter hates it. And now I know how my dad felt. But if you think about it, I was listening to something that was 42 years old. So in 1985, or let's easy math, 1982, I'm listening to something that my dad's probably like, oh, this is garbage. And he's like turning the dial to 1940. That's the same difference.
Well, it does happen. I mean,
and it's just hard to think about.
Yeah.
But it does happen, right? Because you do have to hit a point in life. And we fight this battle, right? Even with comics, right? Like they're making shit comics. They're doing this, they're doing that. In comics, we definitely, when it comes to the mainstream, we see that there is an issue there, a huge issue, because those comics are not escapism, right? But when we do look at certain movies and certain television shows, you do have to look at the fact that if you were to separate the past, because some of these shows and the nostalgia, you're talking a 30-year gap, right?
Yeah.
So if you take the original out of the equation, is that a good piece or not?
Well, Top Gun Maverick. Big gap between the two. And I don't know many people that wouldn't say Maverick didn't surpass the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It absolutely surpassed the first one.
Right. Yes. It had heart. It had everything. Matter of fact,
my two boys who were 20 and 17 were crying in that film. And they had seen the first one, not like me, and I got emotional when I saw the F-14, but they were so like Steve was like the 80s emotional thing, like they really tuned into these kids' emotions. And they adored this film.
Had they seen Top Gun? Had they seen the original?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy is like one thing, and you guys obviously are older than me, but you know,
it's not that obvious, Niall.
I know.
Well, you're not that much older. I'm going to be 40 this year, but
God,
what I'm looking at though. But one thing I noticed is like, and I'm just looking. I saw Kevin's comment. The past 30 years are like whoosh, and time really is kind of like whoosh. You know, I'll see something like, you know, I like to look at old cars and stuff. I'm always looking at cars. I love cars, and I'll see something that's like a 1998 or 99. I'm like, oh, cool, that's not that bad. You know, wow, that's kind of expensive. You know, then I think, wow, that's a classic car now.
Yeah,
right? You look at where it is.
If you do once again the time thing from 98 to now is 26 years. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't seem like it. But then once again, like I started driving in 86. You do 26 years. That's 1960. I couldn't imagine in 1986 getting a car from 1960. I couldn't imagine it. There's
Why not?
No way. In 1980, because in cars from 1960 and 1986, most of them were really classics that were cool. There's nothing from 1998 that you're like, oh, that is just so cool. It's classic.
But that's the thing with culture, though, right? Is like we're looking at it because here's the difference with if you look at like, you know, let's say your parents or my grandparents or whatever, they weren't super nostalgic, right? Not the way people are today. You know, I think it was at a time where, you know, they were more focused on, you know, you grow up, right? You work in your family. Like you didn't have a super childhood where you got to play with a lot of toys. You helped around with the household chores. You may have had a job at a younger age that wasn't typical to today's standards. Then you look at, you know, okay, I'm 18, I'm married, I'm starting to have a family, right?
Yeah.
And then those people were working through this baby boom era, making the country great, doing amazing things, technologies, just really hustling to the point where now those children were like, man, my parents worked so hard. I want to be more of a family person. And then we start getting down to these dynamics of generation. And then what I think, though, that did is it brought nostalgia to a new level because we were really allowed to appreciate what we had. And we were allowed to keep those things. And we were allowed to stay children longer than past generations. So we look at entertainment, we look at media now, and you've got people bringing back nostalgia. But what that's done with social media is now it's allowed everyone and their mother to have a stupid ass opinion to now hate on things and to say things. So we see this dynamic of just so much criticism,
Well,
so
it's
much.
the verbal minority is the vocal minority is what it is.
Yeah. And
Is
it's
Dennis Turner one of those vocal minorities, though? Dennis, you're very
So I pulled up here, pop up the I'm sharing a screen.
Yeah, let me pop that up for
This is like the big list of what they were calling their blockbuster releases for 2024. How many original movies and ideas are in here for their big blockbusters that they're locking us down with? Now think of last year. The Creator, completely original, was phenomenal movie. Not a lot of people saw it. It was a moderately low budget. And because it was a complete original creation, you know, Megan, another really good movie that was solid. But let's just kind of go through them. Joker, okay, there's part 2. Oh, and it's a musical, and we're not telling you about.
Well, Joker's now $200 million, right? The budget for Joker 2.
Yeah, as a musical.
The Joker.
The first, and Steve, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't the first Joker budget 15 million or something like that? 20 million?
No, I don't know.
I was gonna say,
and Joker
got paid more than that just for that.
Yeah, there's no way Joaquin's doing that for, you know.
Gilbert.
I don't know. He wasn't an Oscar
I would check
winner.
that. I think it's $20 million.
200. So the current one is 200 million. You're right.
Right.
And let's see. Oh, they're only giving me. Okay, keep talking. Oh no,
I can't.
For the first film.
I can't believe that this movie is 200 million. I mean, that just blows my freaking mind. And like Dennis said,
70 million, 55 to 70 million for the first Joker movie.
Oh, really?
And there's no reason.
Yeah, which is low budget by Hollywood standards.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It was also a solid movie. It was well acted. It was a completely different take. It was a good movie. So now you're going to follow it up because the first one was successful, because the budget was low. It made money. Oh, we got to green light it. And then this one's becoming a musical. And we're not telling anybody it's a musical because I'm already out because I do not like musicals. And maybe I'm in the minority, but
I love musical and shit.
Dennis Turner, you are out. Your prediction, summer 2024, Joker 2 will bomb.
You know what? I don't know I don't know what you mean by bomb. Is it going to make back 200 million? Maybe.
Well, if it recoups its budget, minus
if it breaks
$100
even
million
advertising budget. So
I think Joker will do well. I think Joker will do well because I think the people are going to come out for it because the first one did so well.
I think so too, and it'll be depending on word of mouth. Now, so if it's
that's
a
what I was going to say.
$200 million production, that means advertising will be about 100 million. So theoretically, they need to make 350 million to break even. I think they can do that with this.
But don't you think?
Well, because they can have a big opening weekend, but if the word of mouth is bad, it could be one of those movies.
You're gonna have the Lady Gaga
70%.
But don't you guys
of course.
Though, in a way that this could be like, let's say U2, right? Remember U2, Unforgettable Fire exploded, right?
Yeah.
Right? That album exploded. All of a sudden, they're on the mainstream, all that stuff. What if the Joker film had the similar budget, stayed small, like I think DC should have made a Harley Quinn film, not a Suicide Squad film, right? And kept that same small budget, kept that same cool factor, right?
Have a drink.
I'm drinking wine now, Steve. Oh, fuck it. Who cares? Thursday night. But if they kept that budget $100 million less, kept the same film small, again, going back to how personal that film was, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like a Crow type thing. It's even smaller than the Crow film. Do you think audiences would have responded to that as opposed to the $200 million extravaganza with Lady Gaga?
Well, I don't think the majority of moviegoers delve into the budgets and all that like we do. So I really don't think I don't think 70% of the people that saw the first Joker could tell you what the budget was because they don't delve into that stuff like we do. I really don't think so. So I don't think that's going to phase them at all. And Dennis will go see it. I hate musicals too, but we need to do our job, Dennis, and review it.
You know,
You're
don't
going.
give me this crap. So Andy will do this. I'll see a movie, and if it's bad, I'll be like, you got to watch it, so review it. Was it good? And if I say no, he's like, yeah, I'm out. And I'm like, no. You got to see the good with the bad. He made me go see Madam Web. Madam Web, which I already was like, dude, there is no point in seeing this train wreck. No, we got to see it, dude. We got to see it. So that's
all right. I have to pull this out. What's up with your mic, bro? What is up with your mic? The Dennis and Andy show is a huge show. Is he always like this, Andy Smith?
He is.
His microphone
Crazy.
is awful. Stephen Peros,
Yes,
an
on his
artisan
microphone
right here,
what's wrong with
my
Mike?
friend, is coming through crystal clear. He's
He's
a
coming through clear.
Shakespearean god.
Here I am. I'm coming in clearly.
See?
Because he's on a Mac. He's on a Mac. That's why.
Yeah.
Niall Scala, say it.
What?
Acting.
Acting. What?
Acting.
I'm
That's
acting,
cool.
you fool.
1, 2, 3.
Dennis turn to talk to us.
Why? If there's something wrong with my voice, if
He
it's a
sounds perfect.
microphone, you
He
can't
sounds
blame
fine.
me. Right?
Yeah,
Everybody says, look at that. Don't let them silence you, Dennis.
I
have a
hate
voice.
taking I hate taking Dennis's side, but
Let's look at Andy.
Don't
You
let
son of
them
a
Where did
bitch.
Andy go?
Don't
That was
let
nice.
them silence.
hello.
Look at that.
Books.
I
singing.
always
Look at
sound
this
good.
kid. Look at
You
this
need
kid.
some new bookshelves. They're sagging.
I do. I know. Well, I like my bookshelves like I like my women's boobies. A little saggy.
Yeah.
And this is why your
That's
wife
how you
does
know
not
they're
watch
real.
shows.
That's how you know they're real. They sag a
I
little.
just want to weigh in on what Dennis is saying. I actually think you make a good point, Dennis. I think it might take one more year for things to change because actually, I think empirically, 2024 was one of the best years for movies in a while. I think we had a lot of original content that audiences showed up for, but you're right. A lot of the stuff that you're pointing at was in the pipeline, and as we saw, a lot of franchise stuff, a lot of superhero stuff, way underperformed. Whereas Oppenheimer was a hit with teenagers, adults, everybody.
Oh God, yeah, that was great.
Barbie, Oppenheimer, Godzilla -1, the best $15 million movie ever.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, but you have to look at there is people are like, is there a superhero fatigue? Well, I don't think there's a superhero fatigue, but the superhero movies suck. They went so hard. They went
10
so
years.
hard.
They went from 08 to basically 2019, 2020, whatever, Endgame. So 12 years. And were some of them not as good? Yes, but even the worst ones during that period weren't as bad as some of the crap they're putting out now. And so I don't think it's superhero fatigue either. I just think it's the quality of the movie they're putting out.
Right. It's crap movie fatigue. Like I was going to say, if we go through this list and you can just either give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Joker, not really interested. We'll probably see it. Nosferatu. Always want to see a Nosferatu, see what they do with it. Always excited for it. Maxine, have no idea. Never heard of it until this, so I didn't even see it in any of my trailers.
I can't find Nosferatu.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a trailer yet. They haven't released a trailer yet.
Yeah,
Amazon.
Who's the star in it, Steven? Do you know?
Brad Pitt.
Is it Willem Dafoe or am I
No,
crazy?
Nosferatu.
This is David.
I have no idea.
David Edgars, who did the Witch and the cat. That definitely has a cast listed for it. I'm just blanking on who it is.
Yeah, I got no idea.
So it got great reviews, but it just disappeared.
No. Nosferatu hasn't opened yet.
No, these haven't come out yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about Dracula. I apologize. I'm talking about Dracula last year. I did not see Dracula.
You're talking about the
Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Last Voyage of the Demeter. That's what you're talking about.
That was good. I like that.
I'm with Dennis. I went there very excited. It's one of the few movies that got me into a theater. I went there, this great state-of-the-art theater at a matinee. It was like just my theater. I owned it, when I was sitting there. And I was like, this is good. I wish it was great. And
really? It was not great?
No.
Guys,
it wasn't great.
But here's the problem. They built an entire movie around a chapter of a book.
Mhm.
It's kind of like, what's that swimming one we went and saw? Night Swim. They
Oh,
built
God.
an entire horror movie around a 3-minute short.
Well, no,
And
I
the
don't.
3-minute short was great.
I disagree.
No, I don't
Dennis.
think that's the
that
problem. I
works.
think because I think the way it was, because this film was in development for a long time, I think they sold it as it's like Alien. It's a contained vessel, and that one by one they're all getting
Right.
picked off by a creature. The problem is they don't make it specific to one of the great vampires of all time.
Right.
Well, why doesn't he like screw with their heads, pit one person against another? Instead, he is essentially just like an alien. There's like
Right.
no consciousness or interesting. He looks cool. The movie looks interesting and looks cool, and the Victorian era stuff looks great. And the actors are good. Everyone delivered, but it's just only okay. And you really wish it was more than okay, when you're watching it. But like I said, it's worth watching just for the boldness of calling a film the totally uncommercial title of The Last Voyage.
Yeah.
Yep, totally
because
agree.
yeah.
Yep. All right. So Deadpool Wolverine. I am excited for that. Ryan Reynolds. And we did get confirmation that Henry Cavill has been cast for this movie. He will be in as one of the alternate variants of Wolverine. So I am kind of excited. They're fighting with Disney over lots of issues, and they're winning more often than not. So I'm crossing my fingers that we might actually have a halfway decent Disney movie for once. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. I enjoyed the others. They're fine.
Yeah. I wasn't fond
Furioso?
of going in and not knowing it was a part one. So
Yep.
when it ended and it was to be continued, I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Well, the problem with grids like this is the only ones we're going to respond to are the known IP. Unless they've started advertising a movie, we're not even going to know what we're looking at. So you're almost making the case for why the studios do this shit, because they know that the audiences just keep flocking to things that are cozy that they know before. But I think I think you're right when you said it's just bad movie fatigue. If you make a really good movie, even if it's not from known IP, people have been turning up, particularly in 24, I think. So, I mean, 23. So hopefully they'll do that this year. And some of these that we're looking at are going to tank, and movies we have yet to even hear of will explode.
Well, one of the grid, almost everything is sequel or related to something like Gladiator 2, the last one. Russell Crowe keeps getting asked about it, and he's like, people, I am not in this movie. I know nothing about it. If Ridley Scott's doing it, he's doing it without me because I'm dead.
Right.
Well, let's going back, guys. And if you could get rid of that, going back last year, even at this time, there was a lot of talk about Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Think about what's this year's, this summer's, this fall's big films.
Well, in March, the end of March, we're going to have a Godzilla Kong.
Yep,
that's coming out. We'll see how the audience responds. It's always been iffy with this whole Monarch legendary Godzilla Kong. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't hit as big, but they hit big enough globally that they keep making them, and I've enjoyed them. I mean, I'm a fan, so I've enjoyed them. I'm looking forward to this new one.
Well, how did you guys feel about Godzilla -1? So we went.
Oh, I love Godzilla -1.
Right? We took the boys, and I got to tell you, I got choked up a few times, and I love the idea of the plane at the end and stuff like that. But holy crap! Like, what a wonderful film, right?
Yeah,
a wonderful.
Well, it had a really nice balance of building the characters so you cared about them, the people and stuff, and it showed enough Godzilla. Because a lot of times with these movies, it's like focus on one and not the other. And, then it just doesn't work. But Godzilla -1 had such a great balance. You cared about the people in it, the main characters. And then you got a really nice balance of showing Godzilla as well. And then, of course, the effects were fantastic. And when we heard it was 15 million, you're just like that. I've said it before on streams. I don't understand these budgets in Hollywood for like, the Marvels, 300 million and 400 and whatever, and like 200 million for the Joker. Cause it just seems like these companies are just saying like, oh, the catering is going to cost $20 million. Oh,
Yeah.
well. And it's like, hey, catering company, we're giving you 5, give us that 15 back. And I'm not saying that happens, but how can you spend that much money when you see these guys spend 15?
Well, because everybody. Sorry, go ahead.
The director actually said, because they were asking him about the fit, how did you do this? I mean, it's Toho. They went back to their roots with the awesome little miniatures, but they did it so well. And he goes, 15 million. I wish I had 15 million for this movie. So they released the number, and he's saying he didn't have anywhere near $15 million to do it. But what they did is the miniatures that they used and how they set it up weren't just realistic. They were so well done. But like we talked about when we did the review of it, they did something that none of the other Tohos did, and that was to focus on characters, the humans, and actually made you want to care about them. Normally in the older ones from the 50s, oh, Godzilla comes, humans, squash, okay, next. You didn't care. Right. But they made it small and personal so that you loved every character in the movie. But then they gave you Godzilla in his glory doing stuff you haven't seen, especially for $15 million.
Yeah, and they also tapped in on the, and Steve, check me on this, the human nature of it all. That you are rooting for that failed kamikaze pilot and his family, and the atrocities that happened to him. It's awful, and it kind of no spoilers, but it all works out in the end in typical Hollywood fashion, if you will. And I was so okay with it. I really, because I was so emotionally invested in this film that it was like a relief at the end of what happened. Right?
Yeah. I think one of the interesting things about the special effects versus the legendary movies keep trying to prove they're $200 million films. Every effects shot calls attention to itself. It's huge. It's over the top. And the interesting thing about the effects direction in -1 is it's just covering the action. It's just where you want it to be. It's just, and they made Godzilla meaner than you. He was actually a scary, ruthless, a beast, and
it was terrifying. It literally was terrifying. If you saw it on the
there's a I don't think it's an apocryphal story that Ishiro Honda, who directed Godzilla and most of the kaiju films from the late 50s through the 70s. He came up at the exact same time as Akira Kurosawa, and Kurosawa always said to Honda and also the people at Toho who he knew that he'd love to do a Godzilla movie. No one took him seriously. They knew it might be too expensive. He probably doesn't know what kind of budgets we deal with. But -1 is kind of like the Godzilla movie that Kurosawa would have made.
Right.
It's really interesting how it finally came to be 70. Now there's a meme going around. This guy's been around 70 years. He finally won an Oscar. All of us keep at it. Don't give up your dreams.
So what's interesting, Billy? You liked how it had that Hollywood ending at it. So there is a sequel plan, multiple of them actually, and it's based on a set of books. Now I haven't read all the books and stuff like that, but like these characters that we get introduced and kind of fall in love with and root for, they've all been affected by the atomic blast and they have radiation poison. So bad things happens to them in the next book. So now how are they going to take that? Because I think our happy Hollywood ending is going to wind up taking a very dark turn. I'm very curious on how they're going to do it. I mean, that intrigues me more than anything. Well,
there's also the complications of the deal Toho made with Legendary. Legendary leads, Toho is only allowed to make one of their movies and release one of their movies during one of the gaps between the Warner Brothers movies. That's one of the reasons why Godzilla -0 oh, hello, it's not on HBO, it's not on home video, it's just won an Oscar. Where is it? You can't see it right now because their movie is opening in a few weeks. That's one of the reasons that it's kind of vanished. I think it's going to come out. They'll probably make some sort of deal where they'll get a piece of it if they whatever, but it's still not scheduled for any streaming services. Everybody's SOL if they didn't see it already. They will get to. It's just a complicated deal that they made. Maybe if Toho agrees to give Warner's a couple of shekels, then they'll release it. But
yeah,
we'll see.
But it also shows how spoiled we are to watch it on our TVs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna release it on movies screens.
Yeah.
So let's just go to the movies and watch this film. So.
Well, let's hope. I mean, people did come back to the movies last year, so hopefully that will keep up. And I think kids go back to the movies because there's only so much time you want to spend with your parents. You know, that's a whole.
Indeed,
you want to get out of the house. So
we got a super chat here from Aaron Sleeper. Thank you, sir. Good writing plus good characters equals success. Simple.
Oh, I agree. I wish
another super chat from Aaron Sleeper. Thank you, sir. Showed my nephew Field of Dreams. He thought it made no sense, but that last scene where Costner's dad shows up and asks to have a
cat.
A cat.
Let's have a cat.
Dude, that oh my God, that just gets you.
Yeah.
That just gets you.
I just got goosebumps. I'm telling you, there are certain things when you think about it, it's an instant human reaction. That's one.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. You know, but also one of the reasons why they make Godzilla -0 for 15 million and Marvel movies for 200 million, you know, there's no Avengers. You have to understand all those actors are getting 16 million. I mean, just the actors. We haven't even made the film yet. You know, there was an article back when A Few Good Men came out. And A Few Good Men at the time when it came out was like a $40 million film, which was, you know, a decent budget bet. But someone did an article that when you subtract out $9 million for the rights to a play, and then Nicholson getting full rack rate, Tom Cruise getting full rack rate, Demi Moore getting full rack rate, and Rob Reiner all at the top of their pay scale, that the actual physical cost to make that movie, and for those who recall that movie, it took place in dingy apartments and a dumpy courtroom. The whole movie, the movie cost $750,000 to physically make. But it was top heavy with all of these fees to talent, to a hit Broadway play, to a hit director. So that became a $40 million movie. But it could have easily been made if it was just like Godzilla -0 does not have any star names. They were all making scale or something, whatever they were making.
Yeah, whatever it is over there. Yeah.
So that it's not too hard to, you know, squint and say, yeah, I guess all these movies could have been made cheaper that we're watching right now. It's not about the catering budget. It's really about the top heavy.
No, I know. I was just saying that, you know, when you look at some of these budgets, it just feels like they're trying to pad stuff. It's like, what is money worth anymore when it's like, oh, this movie's 300 million. No problem. I guess without being in the business, if somebody was like, and just take the Marvels, right?
Right.
Because unlike the Avengers, the biggest actor in it was Sam Jackson and Brie Larson, right? So, and that was what, supposedly 300 million?
That's crazy.
I would just love to see an actual breakdown of where all that money went.
Yeah, me too.
Please.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
reshoots.
Yeah.
Well, gents, I have to get going. You guys keep talking.
Yes,
I am too.
Y'all have a great night.
Let's wrap this up. It was a
I gotta
delight.
get up at
I'm glad we spoke about so many Irish things.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
I gotta say, my favorite St. Patrick's Day movie, not the best. The best is the Quiet Man and all sorts. But the one I go to, God bless me, is Leprechaun 3, the one where he's in Vegas. I recommend everybody watch Leprechaun 3. Not 1, not 2, not 4.
4.
Leprechaun 3.
Well, real quick, isn't Halloween 3 your favorite Halloween?
The 3s are always the best.
Yeah, okay. So
oh wow, yeah, Star Trek 3. You're right.
So here's a whole nother show right now. We're gonna have
except for Star Trek. Except for Star Trek.
I was going to say, I know Dennis is full of chicks. I know his favorite Star Trek.
Death Wish 3, Halloween 3, I mean, Exorcist 3. I mean, come on, they're all the
Well,
best.
I watched
Friday the
real
13th
quick.
three?
I'm gonna go, everyone. But I watched Death Wish 1 2 weeks ago. It was on,
Yeah.
and I sat up and watched it. I have not seen Death Wish 3, so I'm gonna do my homework, get back to that, watch Halloween 3 again.
Oh,
from
you should.
They're saying Jaws 3
Jaws 3 3D, baby.
in 3D.
and Jaws 3D. But Steve, what year is Halloween 3? Is that
Halloween 3. Halloween 3 is
80.
the only one that didn't have Michael Myers. That's the
Yeah.
one where they John Carpenter said, "Okay, I'll get involved, but I want it to be like an anthology series where this is the one about the mad Irish." That's another good one for Halloween. A mad Irish mask maker who's going to destroy the world by giving all the children masks that are going to erupt plagues from their body and destroy mankind. I mean, come on. That's
God.
much better than Michael Myers.
we got to cover that? My God, guys.
That's
Anyway,
a different
everyone out there, guys, thank you for joining us. We've gone way too far. I've been drinking way too wine, have my whiskey. Shame me. I'm eating my peanut butter.
Oh
Oh,
no,
those are good.
boy.
that's a big jug, my friend.
So good.
And it was full at the start.
Yes. Love you all. Thank you guys. And
You got it.
I will
See you
take us
next
out.
week.
Take care,
Yes,
gents.
sir.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you
Bye-bye,
next
Night, boys.
Thanks for hanging
everybody.
out.
Good night.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on Pop XP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the Pop XP and over on Instagram at the Pop XP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.